talk about what was the mindset and what was it like for young women going into engineering back in those days?
Yeah, so back in, I would say the 2000s, 2005 arena, mostly male dominated industry, mostly males, because I went into mechanical engineering.
Okay.
So definitely, I could probably count on one hand how many females were in the classroom.
And at an HBCU, what was it like going there and taking up engineering?
So it was actually, so A&T is the number one school for
Yeah, I've
engineering,
heard.
from an HBCU standpoint.
It's a place to go to.
Exactly, exactly. So it was pretty enlightening,
Okay.
right? To see that, Black students going there to really get ahead, to get an education, dedicated. And so, I mean, it was enlightening and empowering for me.
Okay, so now when you go to, were you ever worried about could you hang, or you knew right from the beginning?
No, it was just I just like being around people that looked like me
Okay.
and that was, trying to really get an education and, have that mindset of trying to do their best.
All right. So when you graduate, did you know what area you want to go into?
No, no, I didn't know at all. So, one thing that I liked was being able to intern and co-op at different companies,
Okay.
try out, those different fields as well as different industries, and then make a choice from there.
Can you talk about the power of internships and how people go about getting them? Because when you hear about, sometimes people are like, it's great, I didn't get that internship, or
Mhm.
maybe sometimes people sleep on the idea of the possibilities.
Hmm. Oh, I think internships are important because, like you said earlier, it gives you an opportunity to try something out. And when you try something out, either you're going to like it or you're not. And so you can move on from there without wasting your time in the future with trying out that opportunity. The other thing is it builds your resume as a student, right? And when you get paid, when you graduate, a lot of companies base your pay off of your experience as well as your GPA. So it's really the combination. A lot of times students will focus on schoolwork, focus on their grades, not knowing that employers are also looking at their experiences as well.
All right, Mike King here. Jana is with us as well. Can you talk about navigating corporate America?
Yes.
You got 17 years in.
Hmm.
Give some words of advice and wisdom on things to do and things that you sort of found maybe you really shouldn't do those because they can sort of pigeonhole you or impede your progress.
Yeah. So I think there's a balance in corporate America, especially, when it pertains to Black females, right? And so sometimes you get looked at, being overly uh, expressive, right? Sometimes you're looked at being bossy. And so there is, really a balance there in the workplace. And so the way I try to navigate it is really being inclusive, right? So getting different points of views, getting constant feedback on, how a certain situation was handled, and really being in manufacturing, listening to the shop floor, because when you listen to the people that are on the receiving end and constantly get that feedback, it could really make you successful, with you not even knowing, right?
One of the things I always think about, people always talk about undercover boss. I like the
Mm-hmm.
program. And
Mm-hmm.
it really makes a difference. It does say something because it gives the owner, the boss, a chance to go there. People think it's hokey and
Mm-hmm.
corny, but when you show up, if you're
Mm-hmm.
not listening to the people on the floor,
Mm-hmm.
you really lose out because they know exactly what's happening. One of Mike, we got to go away and take a break for 1 second. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to Mike, the premier business radio program. We are the voice of RVA business. So, man, we're talking about internships. What's the person? What would the remedy or advice to give a person how to land internships?
So, the first thing would be to work with your local school. A lot of the schools have programs dedicated to finding their students internships and co-ops, because at the end of the day, what they're trying to do, the schools and colleges, is really, promote that they can find their students jobs at the end of education. And so that's one way. Another way is to just really think of some corporations, some companies that you're interested in working for, and just going to their website, applying to those positions or connecting with someone from that company and making those connections.
There you go. So, your people, a lot of times people are in corporate America. And it's funny when people use corporate America. And I tell people, entrepreneurship is not for everyone.
Mm.
It is not. There are good places to be in corporate America, but you have to use the system while you are there. So sometimes people get to a certain point in their career, they start looking for options, ways to grow. And we're starting to talk about our friend Kai